together on putting those numbers together for that. They will present it to the mayor for a review. We kick around a few things, and then we bring it to the council, and the council may have been involved in some of that also, but then we bring it to the council in open meeting and discuss the budget. And we go over, do we need money for this? We need money for that, expenses, income. We go over all that in a public forum and try to work out, and we disagree, we agree, we argue, we do everything on trying to come up with a budget for the town of Shoshoni. And of course, we welcome any income from our citizens on this, but we're going over what we're doing. The water and sewer rates is something, and I will admit, and probably everybody here knows that ever since I've been mayor, we've had a raise every year. And we've just had to. And but that's a fact. But you can be mad at me or whatever, but ever since I've been mayor, we have had a raise. But it's not me making the raise, it's the governing body looking at the finances of what's coming in. We make a decision together to how to raise, not raise, where we're spending our money. We look at insurances, we look at wages of employees, what the cost it is to repair water wells and streets and the whole budget. It's the same thing, not only the sewer and water, but the whole budget. That's the process. And then in open meetings, the governing body, we go over and make decisions the best we can to determine the budget. And that is the process that we go through. And we always welcome input from the citizens of Shoshoni who we all represent. That's just sort of my overview of how we work and determine our budget. I'd like to, this primarily what we're looking at here is sewer and water. So we're just focused on sewer and water, but sewer and water and the whole budget works primarily the same, similar. I would like to turn it over to Chris, if he's prepared to sort of discuss some of the nuances of our water and sewer that we're looking at right now.
Okay, some more handouts. I can make more copies, but follow along. It's also on the screen. So
it's all one booklet. We need to be all one booklet. Yeah.
So on the screen right now is the worksheet for the water. And in that worksheet, we stripped out any raise of utility rates whatsoever. With that stripped out with no utility increase at all. Currently it's a negative $27,547 budget. On the second page, which will say sewer. Wastewater. That also has no raise in the rates. And that has a projected negative 11,471. You can see the budget for what it costs. Utilities on these are set to run the pumps, running that. So that's the ones that are highlighted in red are set payroll expenses and certain costs that are known costs that are going to be like utilities and vehicle and gas. The expenditures on that account is $10,000 for meters and repair. Each meter is about $1,800 per meter. And then on the sewer side, there's not really much expenditures except for supplies for sewer treatment of chemicals, testing.
Is that the $1,800, is that for the digital meters or is that for the readers?
That's for the whole, the pit and the reed and the whole replacement. So that's where we stand right now. If you go back, I'm gonna go back the years. So last year, the water fund posted a $13,000 loss. A lot of that had to do with we had to replace pumps twice, and those are about $6,000 a pop. So you really can't predict if we have to replace those. And last year, the wastewater fund posted a $9,000 loss. The year prior to that, the water fund lost a big company. That was the year that Malagaya left, and they contributed about $36,000 in revenue in 1 year. So when they left, we took a huge revenue decrease. We posted a $38,000 loss that year. And again, these are having to replace pumps every year, as well as continuing to replace meters every year. And the sewer fund lost 23,000. The year prior to that, the water fund with Malagaya still here posted a $6,000 profit and contributed that to the depreciation fund. And that same year, the wastewater fund had a $10,977 profit, also posted to the depreciation fund. The one thing that I'll make note of is this year, after this budget year that we had a profit, we made a third position full-time, and that's when we started running negatives. Or part of it. So that's pretty much the last 4 years in a nutshell. So I'll stop there if anybody has any questions on that.
$1,800.
Go, please, would you, anybody to speak, please come to the podium. Tell us who you are, because we're recording everything, so everybody can look on Zoom and find it later.
Hi, I'm Linda Mans. I was just wondering, the $1,800 that you mentioned earlier for the metering service, our system, is that including installation or is that just to purchase the equipment?
Well, that's the equipment cost. The town employees do the installation, so it's not, they're already being paid, so it's not really an additional cost to the employee per se to do that.
Yeah, I would like to add, when we bought the new Bobcat equipment, the Mini X, one of the justifiable reasons to buy it, that would be easier to install meters with that Mini X.
Oh, that's good.
And that was when that was purchased, that was part of the plan. Go ahead.
Any other
Chris?
questions on the last 4-year overview before we get into anything else? I was just trying to show you where we were, where we're at now. And
Sorry, I'm Roger Baker.
Thank you, Mr. Baker.
What does a Mini X use to change out a water meter when they're above ground?
they're not all above ground.
Oh, they're not. Oh, okay. I just want to know what's your end game. Like, you just going to keep raising the price till the town bills $500, or what's the plan?
Well, the plan
Because it
is-
just keeps going up and up and up. You could charge these people $1,000 a month and still never make enough money to do the things that you need to do for the water and sewer system. The sewer system, sewer lagoon got screwed up years ago. Am I correct?
Yeah, yes.
by a previous contractor. So now the
Yeah.
citizens of Shoshoni are paying for that.
No. It needs to be addressed in the future, but it's not an additional cost.
But what's your end game? Like, are you gonna just keep jacking the rate up every year till it's $1 million?
Well, we are required by state statute to the water and sewer, their enterprise funds, they have to be self-supportive. If we're applying for any grants and loans to repair, replace the infrastructure, we have to be paying X amount of dollars where we can do it. We don't want to be Hudson right now, just had to get a loan to do a lot of water work. They just raised their prices $10 a month, and they will do that for the next 4 more years. And that's going to put them at near $150 a month when they're done. But for them to be eligible for the grant and loan that they had to take out to get that, they had to pass an ordinance, the town did, and agree to those rates.
So
Or they
it's
wouldn't have
state
got the
law that
money.
you have to raise it every year.
They in their agreement, we have a copy of that here. In their agreement, they had to raise it they had to raise it $5 sewer and water, $10 total this year, which they did. And for the next 4 more years, they got to raise it another $10 a month. And so that'll put them at just under 150 a month. And that is what they will be.
No, for here.
But Roger,
Oh, no.
as far as for Shoshone goes, the answer to your question is that by state law, the enterprise fund has to be neutral. It has to be self-sustaining. That's a state law. And so
That's impossible. When how much did we just spend on the water project or the tanks? 300, 600,000,
no, we spent 3.2 million.
$3 million. How is that self-sustaining?
That was a grant that was put in for
Well,
that has nothing.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though, that's my tax dollars and these people's, your tax dollars.
So would you prefer not to have any water at all?
Okay. It doesn't matter. It's all our tax dollars. So by the time we get up to $200 a month, it's just going to keep going up, giving the government more money, more power, and taking money out of our pockets, right?
Mind if I answer this?
Go ahead.
first?
Please do.
Okay, so the way it works is that the town it doesn't matter what municipality is, once these grants require what's called an enterprise fund. That means that by law and by contract to get these grants, they have to be self-funding. You can't bring the money in from a general fund and you can't use another grant to repay it. The grants are supposed to be one-time offs, meaning that the depreciation over the life of that project is supposed to be accounted for in your rates. That means, so the tower that was just done, over the life of the period, you're supposed to pay enough to redo that again in another 20 years. Not next year, that 3 point whatever isn't like next year, it's over 20 or 30 years or whatever it is for the life of that project itself. Same with all the pipelines and your wells.
So what happens when you don't make enough money to repay it?
Well, unfortunately, some of our legislators have said that maybe our town should become ghost towns.
It's going to happen if you keep raising the water rates. And
Well,
everything.
I'm
That's
just
how it
telling
is.
you, that's I mean, you can look it up. That's the opinion of some people. And unfortunately, that's where we're at right
So
now.
why are you even having this meeting if you're just going to do it anyway?
No, we want to hear you. We want to, if you
For
got
what?
do you have solutions? Do you have any other solutions to help us? I
Don't
mean,
don't keep dumping thousands and thousands of gallons of water on the new park down here when the sprinkler lines broke for how many hours? I watched that myself. There's water running down the street. Those kinds of things.
Well,
It's the
water
little things
line.
that make up money.
water.
You said that we hired a third full-time person? Or what? They're not fixing the roads, I guarantee you that. I've seen that grader out, 3 times since you bought it? And that was $100,000. 80,000,
$67,000.
and it's been on the road 3 times. In how many
I
years?
believe it's been on the road more than that.
Yeah, I don't think so. The
Yep.
washboards tell a different story. You're just gonna raise the rates. You're gonna do whatever you want. It's government. You guys are all government. You're gonna do whatever you want, no matter what these people have to say. You're gonna keep jacking up the water rates and doing whatever you want. You're gonna hire whoever you want, whenever you want. You're gonna use your purchasing account as many times as you want
Using what?
to go out of town every other weekend. I'd like to see how much you spent a year.
19,000.
$19,000. Doing what?
What I do is represent the town of Shoshoni.
For
I
what?
work on- Yeah. How do you think we got the grants that we got here for a water?
Because Chris wrote them.
Huh?
Because Chris wrote them, not because you went to an FCAG meeting. And Larry.
I can tell you, we would have not got those free water projects if I would not have been in Cheyenne in person.
Okay.
That's a fact. We did not make the cut. And I brought up and we ended up making the cut.
Okay. Well,
No, that.
Well, Roger, to answer your question though, the way that we mitigate
Kim,
rates going up is growth, getting new customers, just like Walmart, any other company. You have a finite amount of customers, prices are always going to go up, just like Fastlane, Walmart, they always go up. They never come down. And the only way you combat that is with growth and getting more customers. And that's ideally what would mitigate the need. We've lost customers, like we had a guy when they left, that was almost $36,000 in 1 year that left as revenue.
I get it. I'm just saying.
No, I know.
You're never going to charge these people enough. It's never going to be enough. The government is never going to stop digging deep enough into our pockets.
we
I'm just
can't-
going to tell you that right now. Whether it's
we
your
cannot-
fault, no. Whether it's your fault or the state's fault, it's never going to be enough. And people have to start standing up and saying, no, stop it. Stop freaking taking away from my family's dinner plate and taking away from my hard-earned money. Stop it. We pay enough. 50% or better of my check goes to sales tax, this tax, that bill, this government thing, license plates, all the things. Just knock it off.
Well, I appreciate your comment. It's, but if you want water, you want streets, I don't know a way around that, because you're right, we cannot tax. There's not enough people in Shoshoni to pay what it costs to provide all the sewer and water and streets. It's impossible. But we have to get assistance from federal and county and state, mainly county, state and federal funding to help us maintain what we have. And like, it was said that Marshall brought up, there's definitely sentiment that all the smaller communities be disbanded and we're all on our own, like we all live in the country and the county, and that's a possibility that could happen. We could all have our own water wells and do that way, but that's a possibility.
Can you do that,
And-
Shoshoni? Can I drill a water well in my backyard?
No.
I didn't think so.
And please.
My name is Monica Gabriel. And I think we've kind of got off topic. I don't
Yep.
think I don't think there should be any fight. I think there needs to be respect and no argument with the citizens that are here to discuss things with you. Our main reason for coming is to make sure that things are on a level playing field. Okay? By cutting the baseline allowance to 5,000 gallons, you're forcing the law-abiding households with working meters to overpay and subsidize the ghost water and unlimited usage of the unmetered property. I don't think it's fair. I have 66 signatures that don't think it's fair, people that don't think it's fair that you guys are even discussing cutting water consumption or raising prices until everyone that has city water has a working, functioning meter. You guys have no idea if Joe Blow's using 30,000 gallons of water and he's paying an $88 flat fee because there's no meter. or somebody who's using 5,000 gallons of water, and you guys are gonna cut consumption. So the guy that's paying $7,000 is gonna end up paying more than the guy who doesn't have a working meter. What it boils down to is an unmetered home on an $88 flat rate, and I know you guys are discussing changing that a little bit. Can use 20 to 30,000 gallons a month, paying roughly $293 per 1,000 gallons. Meanwhile, a family with a working meter who strictly conserves but hits 7,000 gallons will be slapped with heavy overage penalties on top of the base rate. It's meaning they pay a drastically higher rate per gallon just because their equipment works. You're making data compliant citizens pay for infrastructure blind spots. That's not fair. That's not fair at all. There needs to be a meter for every person. So, as residents and taxpayers, we're formally requesting that this council immediately table any further discussion on consumption cuts and rate changes until the Public Works Department provides a verified audited report to the public showing exactly how many meters in this town are broken, how many meters are not functioning, how many houses don't have meters. That's all we're asking for. This is simple. Start out with an audit. Let us know what the real truth is. Chris is right. Wages go up, bills go up, everything goes up. A water bill is expected to go up, but it's not fair for Joe Blows to get raised when Sally Jeans isn't going to because their meter doesn't work. So I had hoped that we weren't talking about money. I was hoping that we were just going to discuss meters, but public record. $3,449,244 SLIB grant. June of 2020. That was 6 years ago. There are 3 separate categories and infrastructures that grant was written for the town of Shoshoni. First one is subterranean line excavation. Second one was mechanical well and storage tank upgrades. And the third one? 3 minutes?
3 minutes.
Somebody want to donate me 3 minutes?
Donate 3 minutes.
All right. The third one was system-wide fixed base meter conversion. What does that mean? Decommissioning old failure-prone drive-by radio units and replacing them with modern, high-accuracy digital meters. This change guarantees precise, transparent mathematical reconciliation between total water pumped from the wells versus actual household usage. Where are those meters? Where is that money?
Oh, a second. When did you say that grant was written?
It was received and came out June of 2020.
I never wrote a grant like that.
It's an SLIB loan grant that came, and I pulled it straight from public record out of Lander.
We never received that money. We never received that grant.
I can show it to you.
I'll-
It's a primary capital
I'd be happy to look at
for
it.
State Loan and Investment Board from the SLIB capital grant.
Was
There was
it-
also $157,000 on top of that that was supposed to be used for the system-wide water master.
Again, we never received those grants or wrote a grant like that.
Well, then public records are wrong.
Yeah,
And so I'm going to ask that somebody show us that.
I like to see what you're talking, because I really don't know what
Okay.
you're talking about.
So I guess, I don't know, here's signatures for town citizens. And that's what we're asking for. Water meters. Let's make it be fair. My next thing is I would like it placed in public record for each of you, city employee, maintenance, waterworks, town council, mayor, to prove to us that not only do you each have water meters, but that they are all functioning.
Sure.
Thank you.
Marshall, would you like to talk that any illegalities or the water meters or?
Yeah, so in regards to water meters, I guess what I can say is the big thing, the main part of the law is that you have, since these are enterprise funds, they can't go in the negative. How you charge for that ultimately is up to you as long as you have reason. Like you can charge more or not have a different rate because some meters are working, some aren't, as long as you have a reason to do that. Or you could go and charge a flat rate for everybody. There's a million ways you can skin it to come up with a rate to pay for your enterprise funds and projects. They just have to be paid for. So how you do that, that is up to the council. As long as you hit the factors that I brought up before, which would be cost of construction, cost of reconstruction at some point later on in the future, maintenance, and repairs. And those are the main things that you have to address. Along with being as equitable as you can to everybody in the town.
So I'm Monica Gabriel. Wyoming statute 37.3.112 explicitly states that it is unlawful for a public utility to permit unjust discrimination or undue preference. If you cut the base consumption limit to 5,000, you raise the prices. Or you start enforcing financial penalties only on the residents with working meters. That's not fair. It's illegal and it's not okay. It's unjust discrimination.
Could you address that, Marshall?
Yes, again, this has actually been something that's been litigated very similar before in the state of Wyoming. Again, as long as you have a reason why there's a difference that can be reasonably articulated for a difference,
For a temporary amount of time, which is a long time.
that can be reasonably articulated, then you can do it. Again, though, you just, those factors are what I'm talking about, and it's up to the council to go through those and come up with however you're gonna end up charging. How you do that, I'm not gonna tell you how to do that, just the factors you have to hit to get, what you have to actually talk about and discuss and make sure you get there.
Yes.
Maybe the town would have a 30.
Well, if you-
shortage. You've been charging more people overuse the whole time.
Anybody else in the audience would like to speak?
I guess that was.
I'm Chris Carnegie. And I was the one that,
Please.
I was the one that got most of them signatures. And a lot of the people that did sign it don't have working meters. And they don't think it's fair. So thought I'd add that.
Well, I appreciate your work, and that's why we called this meeting. We wanted to bring issues up. That's the governing body. We want to be fair and open, and we want to bring this up and have a conversation. That's exactly what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
One of the things we're mandated to do a budget
And
our
also,
enterprise funds on our water and sewer. We got
you
to
quit cutting into my 3 minutes, God damn it. No, but
Thank you, young man. I appreciate that. What, time me.
right. So like, if anything, you would want to encourage people to have a nice place, wouldn't you? Because then you would drop like your property values. Just my yard alone, they upped my property. They said that I increased it by 30 some thousand. And it didn't cost me no 30 some thousand to water it yet,
Yeah.
but
It,
I don't know.
this,
But a lot of people that I talk to that do have yards,
Mhm.
they said they'll let their yard die. How's that going to benefit your town? Why
Well,
would someone want to live here when everywhere you look, it's an eyesore?
this subject has came up at least the last 3 or 4 years on how to do our water rates, whether we lower our gallonage down. And it's been brought up at least 3 years. And we're trying to balance our budget, and if you look at most other municipalities, they don't run 10,000 gallons. Some of them start at 1,000 or 2,000 or 4,000, whatever. They don't allow 10,000, and they put overages. And we
A
pulled
lot
some of
of
the
them
surrounding
around
communities.
10,000.
We got the cheapest water
And yeah, but if you cut it in half, that's gonna,
I agree. That's why we haven't done that. But we're looking at for solutions. So if I bring it out to the public and see what the public thinks.
right? And
I like
do-
to see
I do
ground
agree with
yards.
that, the meter thing, because that would help.
Well, in the meters has been, we've had to prioritize where we put money. We just spent a lot of money. We gotta have water to worry about meters, right?
Right.
And our infrastructure, our lines, our well houses, our water tank, we all had issues.
Do
And
a
the
set
price of
base
that-
pay, period.
And the price of that went up some more, so we didn't even get finished what we wanted to. That's telling me I'm talking too long. But anyway, that's where we're at, and that's why we brought this up. We're trying to figure out a equitable way to pay for it, and that's what the council is trying to do.
I'm not saying anyone else, but me personally, I wouldn't mind paying, like 100 and some bucks a month through winter and summer. So. No, he took my time. No.
Well, can I have 30 seconds, Kim, to respond just a little bit?
What's that?
Can I have 30 seconds just to respond just a little bit? No,
You're the mayor.
I believe,
Well, I'm gonna interject. When these guys come up to talk, you need to let them talk and quit taking up their 3 minutes, because that's only what's fair. And then you can respond when they're done talking.
Chris, would you mention the cost and additional cost for someone that went from 5,000 gallons to 10,000 gallons? The additional cost would be for that extra 5,000 gallons at the 3 cents or $3 per thousand.
$15.
It'd be an additional $15 a month for those people.
Yeah, I go well over 10,000. It's already running me like pretty hot, 300 bucks.
Okay, so, like I said, nobody's saying that the water and sewer rates can't go up. They just have to go up fairly. And they can't go up fairly until there are water meters in place. Everybody needs to be on that same level set. So that Joe Blow, who uses 20,000 gallons, pays for it. Think about the money that Shoshoni is throwing away right now because there aren't meters. Huh? How many people are using more than the 10,000 gallons a month? And nobody has any idea about that.
Second that. Yeah, I heard that.
So then, on top of that, you keep going to Hudson. I called Hudson. I set it up and I did this in my letter that you all received, based upon 10,000 gallons usage, what the water sewer bill is in Lander, Riverton, proposed for Shoshoni, Thermopolis, and Hudson. Theirs is a $14.23 water base with 0 gallons included. For 10,000 gallons, it would cost $88.29. Thermopolis. $29 water base covering 1,000 gallons, $4 per gallon. I'm sorry, $4 per 1,000 gallons over. So they're at $100. Riverton, $110.40 total, includes $25.41 water base with 0 gallons included, plus a tiered usage rate and a flat sewer rate. Lander, $112.98, includes $46.83 water base covering 4,000 gallons, plus $3.89 per 1,000 gallons over. So we're at $88 flat rate right now, covering 10,000 gallons. I heard that you guys are talking about $2 for sewer, and nobody's gonna bitch about, nobody's gonna cuss about $2 for sewer. So that would be $90 for 5,000 gallons. And then it goes up from there.
On the Hudson one, is this for sewer and water?
That's what they told me, yeah.
Go ahead.
I didn't receive the letter you mentioned.
I emailed it through the town of Shoshone website to everybody. Did everybody else get it? Hang on, Jake, I got a copy.
I was just checking the town of Shoshone
I just went into each of your names. Nope. Nope. I got my.
Did you get it?
That's what I'm looking.
And that's all right.
No, 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 do not go there, cause I did read it.
I didn't get it. I can read it later. There's nothing, no actions happening today anyways.
I don't know.
And I read who all signed this, and it sits there.
You're the only one doing your job. I didn't go to the door.
I'm Teresa Taylor and I live in Shoshoni. When you guys talk about Riverton and Lander, they have treatment plants, which cost more than running wells and stuff like ours. I called Cokeville because they are around 500 people. They have wells. They aerate lagoons and then do discharge with treatment water. Their cost is $40 for a 3/4 inch line with 20,000 gallons of water. After 20,000, they have to pay $20 per thousand afterwards. $65 is sewer, and that's a basic one. Commercial is metered.
So that's a flat rate other than overage.
Of sewer.
It's 100
Yeah,
bucks a month.
65.
20,000.
Mhm.
Careful, Jordan, you're breaking into her talking time.
Hey, grow up, don't be petty. It's not funny, it's not cute. You're supposed to be the mayor.
So when you're talking about, you know, you need to look to see what our town has and what other towns that we have, not these Riverton, Lander and stuff. They got more people to get back, you know, and stuff for rates. I also looked state average for Wyoming of 500 people. The water is 38 to 40 per 5,000 gallons. And sewer is 20 to 38. So a total of $58 to $76 per 5,000. That's water and sewer together. Every year you guys have raised rates. And from 2022 to 2026, over the 5 years, you guys have raised it. Water $18 and sewer $14. When I looked at your proposed on 2027 on your ordinance, you had wrote $7 on there. So I'm not sure where the $7 and the $2. What you guys decide on that.
The one that was really going to change.
This was on the
Yeah,
website and
it-
stuff. And I assume
when it
this is
came
what
out,
you
it-
turned in for proposed.
Hmm.
You had to turn in a proposed budget.
First reading.
We're not there yet.
You haven't had to put in a proposed budget yet. Okay. So what I'm concerned about is that you guys have in the wastewater, we've done a dosing system. It didn't work from day one. The EPA engineer, we tried working with them, telling them it's not gonna work. It's gonna freeze. It froze the first year. It broke. Then you guys put in sewer lines with the lift station for the mushroom plant out there. Now that's shut down. And there we are hanging there, using money that could have been used other places. Granted, it was a grant or whatever, it still comes out in the long run out of our pockets. Water, you guys were overshot your engineer estimate when it comes to the SCADA system by quite a bit. And I'd like to know where that money came from. I assumed either out of WyoStar, which is probably pretty much completed now, or out of the 1 cent infrastructure, or not 1 cent, but the infrastructure. Yeah, it's a 1 cent per infrastructure money. The water tank project, you guys just got done painting the inside. But I've also heard the top's gonna need to be replaced because it's all rusted. And you guys are gonna have to replace that. And then we're gonna have to start all over on that project. What it is.
Does somebody else want to speak? We're trying to give everybody a chance.
Thank you. So what it is it's kind of, the citizens are paying for these projects that's failed, come up short, or even billing errors on our water meters, on our waters. I've looked over it. You guys are supposed to, when you do a raise, you're supposed to start charging the 1st of July, right? You don't. You don't start charging until August. So you're a month behind on the new charges. So with all the billing errors, the meters that don't work, or our meters leaks that you guys don't even know about because the meters aren't working. And I think that's what a lot of us are upset about, is that you guys want to raise this. And I know we've lost money, according to that, over 4 years. But some of the projects that you guys have been doing, the Trailhead project, everything else, I think some of that money could be used for water and sewer. Thank you.
Nope, I just like to respond, the dowsing system, there was nobody that's sitting here now was in our position when that started. And that was the DEQ, not the EPA design that they sort of forced down Shoshoni's throat. Yep. Yep. But there was.
And with the mushroom farm, they paid for their part of that sewer.
Pardon?
The mushroom farm paid for their part of that sewer.
Yes, yes, it did.
They
Yep.
paid half and we paid half.
They paid theirs to go the rest of the way.
That whole project cost $80,000, a 95.5 grant, which the mushroom farm gave the town a check for $50,000. So the whole project cost the town $30,000.
It also puts sewer in the 40 acres.
Yeah, that also put sewer into the 40 acres and they were paying over $30,000 a year in water bills.
I've lived here since 2003, I believe, when my family moved here. And prior to that, visited here a lot as a kid. And what I think, unfortunately, I think everybody's points are heard, at least on my behalf. I can only speak for myself. But what I can say is I think what we all are enduring is an entirety. And I'm speaking a little bit more as a citizen of this town and not a council member, is we're seeing many years of lack of concern for our infrastructure. Whether it's been sewer, water, and now we're left with it here at a head. And basically, in the year and a half that I've been on council, and the 8 years that I pretty much attended every council meeting before, the water was at a standpoint that it was either fix or watch this town die. And thankfully, the town decided to fix it. The wells were pretty inoperable. They were limped along for many cycles and many cycles and many cycles. So in turn, here we are. And the water tank, yeah, we re-epoxied it, but it's just another situation that it's a time buyer, because there is other issues with the tank, and those have to be addressed down the road too. So I think what you see is past councils and mayors and whatever that have neglected or foreseen or forgotten what's important. And we're left with the problem. So it's unfortunate. There's some unjust there. I think you guys have mentioned some clear points of unfairness, and I can tell you that I'll clearly look into it and how to make this right. I'm big in trying to make what's right for one, good for all. But that doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's going to agree with it. But I will say I've heard you loud and clear.
Been raising rates this whole time, you knew that people didn't have working meters, that many people.
Could you please come up and speak?
Roger Baker. You've been raising rates year after year after year, and you knew that there was that many people that didn't have a working meter. I know mine works because I get charged for it. And you have nothing to say about that?
We've been replacing meters, and the entire revenue fund of the entire year for water is about $200,000. You're looking at over $300,000 to replace the meters.
Well, I get that. They're expensive.
And they are being.
But I'm just saying, you're raising the rates on us people that our meters
You mean
work.
you're speaking to the governing body?
Yeah,
Because all of us make that decision.
Not all these people have been here for the time that you have. You've been raising the rates on those people that have working meters like me,
And
and
me,
not the guy down the street. He's pumped, just opens the tap up and leaves that son of a bitch open and uses 50,000 gallons of water. And that is right in your head. That's fair to you. That don't make you feel like pretty bad.
I had no idea of the amount of meters that are not working, and that's the truth. And B, we gotta prioritize our funding. If we have X amount of dollars to spend on that, meters cost so much, we've been replacing. Mike has been working on pricing on meters. When I was down in Laramie, I was down there, I was working with several suppliers, working with a supplier that gave us a proposal. We're looking at, since we finally got all of our water projects sort of caught up, that we still have more to do, to take an honest look at meters. And we're working on that right now. We started that process a couple months ago. And we are working on trying to get where we can afford to put meters in and make it work. But we're working on that right now.
Are any of those new lots for sale that were put in? As a realtor came and did that and got it up on the market?
We're gonna get the plat filed, I believe, Friday.
How
Yep.
long has that been? 4 years? How long have they been completed? 2 years?
We had to survey them, get them platted.
How long
It's
has that
all,
been
it's a process that we've been working on doing, and that's what we've been doing.
How long have they been completed? Are they still not?
The sewers into all
No,
of them
The
and
property ready to sell, how long has it been?
It ain't ready to sell till
Till the
the
plat.
surveyor will file it at the county. And we've approved a plat 2 years ago that has not been filed at the county by the surveyor. And
Since
that's
the
been,
town could make some money off of that.
hope so. But it's the surveyor hang up and there's, I think, about 4 or 5 licensed surveyors in the state right now. So I don't know what you can do about that.
As the liaison for the maintenance department, a year ago, when we did budget session, we sat down and, there was one working, meter pit and run on the shelf at the time. And, last time I checked, this council has advocated and supported that direction. And now we have, I believe there's 11 currently. And there's been, in that time, in the year and a half that I've been here, I believe there has been 11 for sure that I know of that have been fixed and replaced. Just,
How many are there that don't work?
I don't have the exact number for that, Monica.
As the mayor, how many meters don't work?
what is Kim
Melissa.
or Melissa? 40 to 50?
Aren't there 364 water bills? Isn't that correct? Or aren't there 364 residents in the city limits of Shoshoni? So there's more people than that here according to our signs.
Not
So
everybody
they don't
lives-
use water?
Not everybody lives alone.
I for one don't have my water on because I refuse to pay the rates and it's cheaper for me to take showers at the gym or when I go for my therapy swim and my washer broke down a year and a half ago, so. I've been doing the laundromat, so I'm one that don't have water because I refuse.
I think that the citizens need to know how many water meters are not functioning, not working.
Told ya.
And I had hoped not to bring this up. It is town rumor. I can't prove it. But it is being said that we have council members that don't have working water meters. It's also all over town from your waterworks department. Disconnect the gray wire. So-
What?
Just disconnect the gray wire. So you need to find out how many water meters don't work before you start raising rates. I would like to thank everybody for hearing me out. If you've got questions, you know where to find me.
She said,
Have a good night.
she said there was.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica.
Yes, please go ahead.
I was wondering if you could go over this handout you guys handed us when we came in,
Yes.
please.
Which,
I'm assuming it's to do with motels and RVs maybe, or.
I would generate it, so I. For some
Is it-
purposes. Look at it real quick.
is this something Melissa generated or is this Kim? Okay.
And
Yeah, but they're not
there is reports on your
450.
system that you can bring up, that's how many places don't have meters and how many uses them, and when you got water leaks.
Yeah, that's what she mentioned,
Yeah.
and that's what she said.
Yeah, Melissa just did an
The
update.
rates per unit. It's just the rate schedule.
I guess I don't understand.
So 2 units, there's 86. The third unit would be 129. You're adding $42 for whatever the
Is that?
Businesses, units,
The business,
2
yeah.
units, is that bathrooms, is that? What is it?
the same as since you were here. It was 2 units per business.
Does that apply to apartment complexes?
No, those are
Oh.
different.
So how does, how? excuse me. So how do you charge for the RV parks, motels, and the businesses?
Same way that you charged when you were the clerk. Nothing's changed.
So. So there is a minimum amount per motel. And then what went through the meter? Is that correct?
Well, as you know, the Shoshoni Motel only has 1 meter.
Mhm.
For the
And how
whole-
many units?
There's 12 units.
How many units are you charging?
Each unit gets charged.
Huh?
Each unit gets charged water and sewer.
Each unit gets charged water and sewer
Yes,
per month?
yes.
Okay.
That
And
is
that's the
correct.
same-
You want me to show you?
Huh?
You want me to show you?
And that's-
Here, I can show you.
And that's for the RV park also?
Which RV park?
There's 2 in town.
Well, that one's on a well. So
How come he's on a well?
It's the old school.
He's gone on well for irrigation.
They've got, the schools had a well for irrigation.
they inherited it when they bought it.
And so you allowed him to use well to run his RV park?
I didn't allow anything. I'm
I'm not
No.
pointing at just saying,
No,
I mean, it was.
I wasn't on
council.
council during that time, because I certainly wouldn't have voted for it.
But they do have one, just a single water, they charge double if it's a business. They have a water tap there that they do run, they pay 2 units as a business.
Yes.
The other RV park, was the same fee structure for the desert in motel, they pay 8 units.
Okay, for water and sewer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris,
Yeah.
did you looked at a number, if we just went to a flat fee? What would that number be if we had a flat fee with not charging for any gallons each? That we'd have to have a sort of a minimum, just
Keeping
Yeah.
in the third position.
Yeah.
You would be $70 for water, $50 for sewer.
You said to keep a third position was 70 and 50?
Yeah.
So 120 total.
What if it was? See, whether we can't, if we couldn't do that, what if we couldn't keep a third position, what does that look like?
I didn't calculate that. I could recalculate it. I'm gonna guess it'd be somewhere around. Ballpark, $60 for sewer or water and probably $40 to about $100. I'm ballparking it in my head because I'm not.
well, what's the cost of our third position versus working in part-time? What the additional cost to the town would be retirement, because he's not getting insurance.
Full time to part time was when we did the calculation, that's about $7, looking down to 2. That was that conversation in the workshop. It was $13,000 for water, 13,000 for sewer decrease, so 26,000.
That's where I mentioned part-time summer help. We eliminate that position to ensure instead of having a part-time summer and then part-time winter, We just not have a part-time summer and we have a full-time summer and winter position was the solution I found.
Please.
Linda Mans again.
Thank
So-
you.
So Jordan, under your plan, with the one part-time person eliminated and a full-time person,
It was just a summer help position.
okay,
Typically it was, like a high school student or something.
what would be the change in the rates, if any, if that was adopted?
It was just a $2 sewer increase. There was no further discussion on the water at that particular moment. There was talks that we needed to look at that, but we hadn't looked at it at that point, so I can't say that there was not gonna be a change.
Right. I am just hearing an awful lot of serious frustration from the citizenry. And one thing that we have to remember as a town is that's our base. We can have all the great projects and the wonderful plans and grants and funding, and I'm not saying that lightly. But I am saying, if you don't have the following of the base, which is the people living in the town, you're not going to have anything. And I feel great sorrow that it has come to this. I feel bad that the citizens of this town are being, I'm going to say mistreated. I'm going to say mistreated because I did not realize that we had so many residences that did not have a meter. That is, and Marshall, I mean, no disrespect to you or to the state of Wyoming or to any governing body in the world, but whether it's legal or not to do it like that, it is wrong. It is morally wrong. And we can sit here and laugh about moral rights and wrongs, but these are the people. Look at these people. And these are the people who are being mistreated because of that. And I would strongly urge that you table this. I know we can't afford at this time to put in meters for everyone who does not have a meter. But I would strongly suggest that this meeting be tabled or rescheduled and give the council a little more time to think this whole thing through and see where the money is going to come from so that we can actually have those meters installed.
We are actively looking at that right now. We have to, by state law, we have to have our budget in by June 30th. And so we're up against that deadline. But we are actively looking on at how to put meters. We've reached out to meter suppliers and we've been working on that for several months.
The only thing I can see, and you guys need to say yes or no while I'm up here. I'm hearing, we've been looking at that for several months. We're right at the deadline and nothing has happened as in regards to the meters. We've been looking at things for 4 years. And during this meeting, that's what I'm hearing. We've been looking at that for 4 years. We've been trying to fix that for 4 years and the rates keep going up. And it's not like Bob and I are gonna become bankrupt if the rates go up, but I'm speaking for the whole town. I'm not just speaking for myself. And this needs to be addressed. Thank you.
I'd like to. Somebody else want to speak?
Yeah.
Please do. Please do.
JC Morgar, and I'm just gonna say for all of you on this council, when I walked in here, I was late, so I have no idea what your plans are to fix the problem. But what I observed as a citizen of this town for my shitty council sitting in front of me is that only one of you read a citizen concern, and that's all I have to say.
please.
I don't know
come
how I was
speak.
supposed to read it when I never received it. I guess magically imagined what it would have said, I guess. I don't know.
Alrighty, hi guys.
My email and I never got it.
Yeah.
I never got it.
Alrighty, so as far as with everything for the water, I was kind of listening.
Wait, did you introduce yourself? I
Oh, I'm
didn't hear.
sorry about that. I'm Justin Rader.
Yes,
and
thank you, Justin.
I apologize. So I was kind of listening on the Zoom call a little bit, trying to kind of follow everything that I could. When we were talking about the funding for things, do we have any sort of an area where we can do some sort of events to help raise money for the town? Could we do some kind of like maybe a festival each year or something where we bring in events to bring people from the areas around in?
So,
You know,
I, glad you brought that up, and I've been kind of trying to stay quiet, but there's, when it comes to water meters in Wyoming, it's not like other like water infrastructure. There's not grants, regardless of what's been said. There's not these grants out there that pay directly for water. We did look at that for years. And I think it's a great idea, trying to find a different avenue to try and replace them faster than we are now. We're averaging, what, 4 or 5 per year replacing. That's clearly not fast enough. That's what we currently are doing. And I think we could do better, maybe looking at other avenues besides strictly grants. And that's a good idea. I just don't know how we could, what that would look like, but I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Even if we can replace 5 more.
If you were to maybe coordinate with like possibly some people inside of the school, I'm sure there's plenty of those kids that are, willing to do some community service hours in order to be able to get something to help with resumes for some colleges or things like that to help get a couple extra workers out there, maybe run some booths or something like that. You can bring in some food trucks from the areas around, like I've heard that Jordan did a car show or something like that a while back, just have something going on at least a few more times a year to help generate some revenue to help fund some of these other things that are going on with the town.
I
So,
appreciate trying to find a solution.
no worries, but sorry, I kind of came in a little late. I was working. I had my break and I was just kind of listening in as much as I could, and I caught little bits and pieces here and there. But
Yeah, and even if we had all water rates, suddenly I guess, we wouldn't be increasing water rates ever if we had, that's been the conversations, like water rates are still gonna go up.
and I understand that the water
And-
rates may go up, but I think a lot of the frustration with people on top of the issue with like the meters and things like that, we're paying like I paid double what I paid when I was living inside of a major city for water that, quite frankly, is kind of terrible. It's not treated, it's not anything, it smells bad. It's, and we're paying all this extra money for water that,
Yeah.
quite frankly, is not quite up to par. And
yeah, we
compared to
still
most
have a
places.
little bit of time. I'm sure somebody else has got a minute, 3 minutes to give him. Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good on time. Go ahead. It just,
I apologize. I wasn't keeping track of time, but, I just, quite frankly, I feel like there's a lot of other avenues, like on top of doing all these grants and other projects that are, you can bring in that we could do to help raise a lot of the things that could benefit this town greatly in the end. And I feel like those are a lot of missed opportunities that we should be taking into account and consideration that we could capitalize on in some way or another. So, I'm sorry for, coming in late and kind of running afterwards because I got to get back to work, but thank you guys for your time.
yep, appreciate your comments. Anybody else? I think ideas like that are appreciated.
I was just wondering, do you guys have a replacement plan for these meters? I know you can't replace them all at once. And, just like police cars and stuff, you change them out every so often and stuff. And you have to build it into your
So
budget.
I didn't cut you off. I was going to answer, I'm sorry, but I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize. So we had a grant, that the USRD gave us for, water. I don't know if you read that or not, but it was a, water PER for their subdivision that included that, and they were looking at, the plan to get, water meters. And, the available funding for that. So the recommendation was basically to get a loan and to replace them all at once. That's was the only recommendation at the time. And that was last year. So,
But from what I heard before, that you guys kind of have to have your budget. Be in budget and not be in the red to apply for those.
well, yes and no. I mean, you can use the 1% optional tax for cash matching on a short-term project like that.
Mhm.
So separate from that. But there's just no grants that directly pay for water meters. And that's been since Buddy was here, and it's just been an ongoing issue. And I think that's where I know that we have a small budget. We have, $200,000 doesn't go very far when you talk about payroll and everything else. It doesn't go that far when it comes to replacing meters. You can only do so many per year. And we've been budgeting for 5 per year is what we've been budgeting the last 2 years.
So that's your plan, kind of replacing 5 at a time?
No, that's doing what we can.
Okay.
I told you the only plan there is to get a loan and do them all.
Well, that would be nice, but you still got to pay for that loan.
It's $300,000.
You know.
Well, exactly. So,
I mean, that's,
and that's where trying to find a solution, is. I mean, if there was an easy solution that would have been solved 10 years ago, 15 years ago,
mhm.
5 years ago, it's not that simple.
So the loan is like the still with the water. We had a loan years ago. I think it's paid off now.
Yeah,
We paid $9,000
Yeah,
a year.
that's WWDC, but Wyoming water will not cover. We looked
That.
into that. They will not do water meters.
Mhm.
So that's where every door we open is a brick wall. And criticism is the council is supposed to come up with solutions. So criticism is duly noted. I'm not making excuses. I mean, I'm trying everything I can, but
Yeah.
I can't come up with recommendations to give the council when there's nothing that I can find that's palatable. Other than getting the loan,
Right. Other than, like I say, plan on, you look at your budget. And I know it's tight and everybody's budget's tight, but if you can plan on 5 years, so you've been going at it for 4 years right now, that or more, that could have been 20 meters.
we have, that's
so
what I'm saying. We have replaced those meters. We haven't.
you've done 20 meters,
We did 11 last year and we currently have 11 on the shelf.
and you get on the shelf.
Yes.
Don't bring money in.
Well,
I know.
I don't-
And you only got 3 guys, so I know how
don't
that goes.
install 'em. I know where they're at.
May I address one thing that
Please do.
that she brought, and I just want to clarify what I was talking about earlier, as far as making sure there's enough money. If there's a loan or a grant that puts into the project, and that the depreciation has to account after that's gone in for the future replacement, because the intent of these loans, grants, or whatever, whoever puts the money in, is for it to be a one-off, and then for the municipalities or the water district or whoever's doing it is supposed to then replace it on their own in the future. That's how it's currently structured. Whether that's right or wrong, I mean, and I just want to mention earlier too, I know you brought up about the state and me, up here as an attorney, I tell you what the rules are. And I've always said this, ethics are different than morals. And I get that and the rules sometimes, but currently unfortunately, that's the way the rules are.
Linda Mans. I just don't understand Okay, Joel, you told me after the last, I believe it was after the last town council meeting in the lobby that, regarding Wyoming cardiopulmonary, there would be a loan that our name would be on it, but we wouldn't have to pay it off. And I'm not even going to ask you to explain that because I don't think I would understand it anyway, but why are we looking at something like, why would we look at a loan for that when we need a loan for water meters? I don't,
Well, this is a sort of a off the wall subject. I'll just touch on one little bit part of it. There would be funding.
one moment. I'm sorry, my phone has just decided it was going to think for itself.
The only part I'll just touch about that there is funding that would come back from that loan grant that from SLIB from the Wyoming Business Council with the BRC loan grant program that they currently have. It maybe not be here next year, but approximately $100,000, a little more than that per year would come to the town to use for infrastructure. So it could be our matching money for water and sewer projects, which would maybe help save the town from raising our rates so high because we'd have that match and we would from that loan grant. And that's the way that is structured to help, especially towns our size, to move forward and help us in the future. And that's what that would do. And other than that, that's all, sort of off topic, but that since you asked it, that's how that would help
Right.
fund our infrastructure in Shoshoni.
Well, I don't understand why we would go for a loan for Wyoming cardiopulmonary when we could have sold that lot anyway without this.
That's
angle.
off topic. We'll talk
And-
about that at another time.
Okay, and so we're saying loan and loan. And that's what I don't understand. I mean, I just don't understand why we don't go for a loan for the water meters because this is a longstanding problem. I'm not trying to argue with you,
No.
but this is like suddenly you find out that someone has lost their job. You're trying to get groceries for the family. This is a big deal. This is a
But-
really big,
But that the two don't correlate at all. They're in a whole.
so we could
different-
get a loan for Wyoming cardiopulmonary, but we can't get a loan
That
for
was
the water
a
meters.
specific BRC loan grant through the Business Council and SLIP. Has nothing to do with water lines.
Okay, would I be able to come into your office one day if I make an appointment and you can sit down and spell
I'd
it out for
love
me?
for you to do that.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate
I'd
that.
love for you to do that. We have anything else? Please do. Thank you.
To know Whitener. I guess just from hearing this, I don't attend council meetings very often. And I'm not a public speaker, so I might talk fast, so let me calm down. Just being here and hearing the citizens and being a part on both sides of the fence, what I'm hearing is more of the meters are gonna take a long time to replace. And so being on the other side where we have flowers, we have a garden, we have grass. So in really cutting that usage is definitely going to be detrimental on our part. And we're all about, being proud of what we have. And so I'm definitely against the usage getting cut. I understand things have to be increased. $88 in the winter is less than my phone bill that we pay. So I'm totally okay with raising it. And I also agree with Monica with the whole meters. Some people have meters, some people don't. So I think I'm in favor for more of a flat rate, whether that increases that $88 a month or through the summer or the winter. That's what I'm in favor for. I can't speak for everyone because everyone has their own opinion, but I feel like that flat rate will benefit. And yeah, people are going to complain that it's going up, but people make it work. and it's a set amount instead of having the overages where you might have 300 this month or 100 next month. Sorry, my heart's beating. I can feel it beating on my chest. But that's my solution to this situation. And I think even if we continue to stack our shelves with those water meters until we get to a point where everyone can be changed out at the same time, and then go back and look at that usage when everyone's on a meter to make it fair. That's just what I'm thinking, and that's how my mind is processing this situation. Granted, some people might not agree, but that's my solution, would be my proposal for the solution of this situation to make it fair for the people that are on meters, and also for the people that aren't, that may be using more, but we just don't know.
Yeah.
So, Teal, real quick, I just did some recalculating, just so council's aware. If meter rates aside, leaving at 10,000 gallons, whatever, what it would take to balance this budget would be $6 increase flat across the board for water, 2 for sewer, $8 increase. Your bill would go from 88 to 96, and that would balance the budget. If we further go down, we could reduce it 5 increase on sewer, or sorry, 5 increase on water, $1 increase on sewer, so a total increase of $6 if we get rid of the depreciation, which is not ideal because the depreciation is what goes into marshals, and that's mandated by law for anything. So it'd be an $8 increase if you don't want to change anything else, including everything in the third position. There's your number, $8.
And that's keeping the 10,000, or that's doing a flat rate?
That's doing a flat rate, keeping the 10,000. It'd be, you'd have to increase it $8 total, $6 for water, 2 for sewer, just to balance it.
But if you went over the 10,000, then
You still have a surcharge.
Right.
But it wouldn't change anything. I was just letting you know.
So, with a flat rate, that's why I asked Chris to come up with that flat rate. And that came, if everything was as is now, would be $120 flat rate for
There was
everybody.
no.
With no,
If there was no usage.
there'd be
that's
no
what we
UC
would-
charge at all.
Yeah,
Everybody
there's no
be
UC
charged the
For
same.
anybody.
For
You
anybody.
didn't ask
What I
us.
just said
I
would
did.
still be a usage charge
But you
over
can take the
10,000
credit
gallons.
If it helps you sleep at night.
Okay,
You
so
didn't ask that, I did. But you can take, I asked that too.
I asked him that last week after this meeting, did I not, Chris?
120 with no usage overage.
I'm so confused right now.
So it's 100, I'm going back on
If we
track.
Get a complete flat rate increase.
With no overages, you don't have to worry about meters or anything of that.
That would be
nature,
$120 a month.
Right.
Which is still less than my cell phone bill.
If we
With
still have,
family cell phone
a
bill.
usage charge over 10,000 gallons, we'd have to increase it $8.
I'd rather, in my own opinion, pay $120. It's set summer through winter and not have to worry about an overage. I know my parents are the same. They have 2 meters at their house and their lawn and everything's beautiful. So I'm just speaking on what I know, what I live, and who, like my parents as well. But I would be okay with that. You know, groceries go up, people make it work. You set them out on a bill, people make it work. They can start budgeting it in. And it's always a shock. No one likes when you open your dish bill and it goes up. What am I being charged for? When it continuously keeps going up, I think that's when people start to, what am I being charged for? What is this for? And then they start to realize, but when it's that set amount and you budget it in, you know it, I think it's shocking in the beginning, but people get used to it and then they just roll with it. But that's my opinion. Thank you for your time. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, at least wanted to throw a solution out today because we haven't had any solutions really on anything, so.
Oh, okay. I was like, right? I just made a solution.
My name is Timothy Lewis. I've lived here my whole life. I haven't been here for a lot of years now, and I know that all the properties that my family does have been amongst some of them that have been let go. The fences are no longer up. The yards are dead and gone. But I wanted to throw out there about back in the 90s when I grew up here, every street, almost every yard was green. We had grass, and our population was over 600 back in the 90s. I know life happens, everything has gone up, cost of living's through the roof, but I mean, people figure out how to make it work, but like exactly what Tanel was saying, you know, a flat rate would be like if people had a flat rate with the overage after 10,000 and we don't cut the usage, then maybe we'd actually see some yards turn green again. Maybe some people would actually start caring to water. Whereas if we cut the allotted amount of water down, you can forget anybody moving here because we're going to lose what few green yards we have left. You know, I appreciate you guys for, you know, having a green yard, Chris Carnegie for keeping his yard green. As I've been trying to fix my life and, you know, get things figured out with, you know, my properties, I'm hoping to, you know, get some green grass again one day myself too. I love Shoshoni. My life has gone to hell every time I've left. And now that I'm finally back, I ain't ever leaving again. I love this place. I love this little town. It's always been home to me. And that's just what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Linda Mans. I have to agree with Tanel. It would just be less painful all around to just have a flat rate. Instead of, I feel like, I don't know if I'm speaking for anyone else about this, but I feel like a flat rate would assuage some of that. Bitterness is probably too strong a word, but some of that irritation, realizing that some people are not being metered and other people are. And I can tell you, the people who are being metered, it was a revelation for me tonight. And I am suddenly thinking, oh, so all this time, the metered people are making up for the unmetered people if they go over or whatever. So I feel like $120 flat rate for everybody would be easier in the long run to swallow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just mention too, I'm going for the flat rate for residents, not so much businesses. Oh, clear the record.
Any other comments? Council. Tammy, would you like to comment,
Only thing I
please?
could have brought up before was $2 on the sewer, and after that it went to shit.
Any other thoughts?
No.
Councilman Stellar, you have some thoughts?
Yeah, I was understanding $2 a month raise on sewer. That's like 5 cigarettes a month less.
Right,
It's not a real big deal.
for those that smoke.
Right. The one Julio drink, not even a fancy coffee, but so we've been replacing meters. I did not realize that the inoperative meters was as widespread as it is. I guess that really needs. The water tank was brought up a few times about the water tank damage and now the roof needs done. Nobody knew how bad the water tank was until it got sandblasted. You could actually see the damage. And that's why it didn't all get done at once. Nobody knew it was there. So the recoding it revealed a lot of things. Linda, you mentioned about why get a loan for the cardiovascular, but not the water. Well, you also got to think about it like a business. Or like out at our place, we got the ranch money and we got the house money. You got the water money, you got the general fund or the economic development. They're not related at all.
I understand they're not related, but what I'm saying is this town, you look at these charts, this town can't afford to be responsible for a loan for cardiopulmonary, whether we have to pay it or not. You've got to, if you're going to put your name on there, you got to figure that may come up one day. That may come up, and I'm going to be the one holding the ball.
Which
And so,
they don't, but it has no bearing on the
but
water
what I'm saying
at
is,
all.
if it was just.
In
a
any
straight
way.
loan for both of them, you know as well as I
From,
do.
with a mirror backwards, sideways, it's different.
What I'm saying.
They're not connected.
It still comes out of Shoshoni's money. Let's just flatten that. Shoshoni can't afford two huge loans at one time. And even if loan grant, we're hoping we got this, we got that, but our name is on the loan. And I still say,
And if,
I feel like that's a really bad. You know, if we were a big town and we were dealing with billions of dollars, that would be one thing.
and it's not connected to the water in any way.
So there's,
And then the other deal I had, so we're talking about the installing the meters ourselves and all. One of the increases that has to do with a third full-time employee that we got when things were swinging good.
now a guy left, that's what changed.
Right. I mean, yeah, so we lost the customers and now we're in a deficit. But I'm not in a position where I want to tell that third part-time guy that we're not going to fund his position.
My last solution is, you know, I recommended the council to reconstitute our savings and start saving. We have $145,000 that we're putting in savings, budgeted to go into savings this year. You guys want to use that? It's capital projects, it's water sewer, that money is available for this meter problem. You can't use it to substitute for the housing, the enterprise fund themselves. But you can use that for projects to get meters, but we need to start saving money, so. I
And then do I get to finish what I was on?
sorry, I don't.
Yeah, please go,
I mean-
please.
Chris, when
So-
you say they're.
I get-
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Councilman
you-
I have not
Statler is
interrupted you
talking.
once tonight, and you've
I-
spoken how many times? How many times have I spoken? And you're interrupting me about 3 times now. Please, just let me finish. For God's sake, reciprocated courtesy. So the infrastructure has not been kept up on our water system in 30 years. That's why we got so far behind. We got all the estimates from the engineers and all that applied for loans. When right around time started doubling, costs started doubling and doubling and doubling. We've all experienced that in our life. So things were estimated, sent off for the grant. Everything doubled. We got awarded the grant. Can't take out a loan for a meter because we just took out that loan to cover the overages with the infrastructure repair for the water delivery to the town. Those are the things I wanted to point out. And if it really would be $120 a month for everybody in town, no overages at all, no usages, that would just be the way to go.
Would you like to comment? Councilman Nordine?
Sure. What I heard tonight was, the lack of fairness in the water system. And I heard that in a big way, and I think that's a problem we've got to listen to. I mean, absolutely have to listen to. And so, what I also heard, and I think this is getting to your point, they're not the same pots of money. I get that, I mean, we all understand that, but the town has to have priorities. So what are our priorities? Why aren't we making the water meters issue a priority and spend our time trying to solve that problem instead of other things to get in the way? So what I heard was make water meters a priority. So Chris, what you brought up with that savings of 120,000 that we've talked about, that was one of the solutions that I had. The other one is that I know there was a resolution a few years back about when we sell land, that money goes into paying off our debt. And that's a good thing. We want to be as debt free as possible, right? But do we have to pay all of that? Why don't we use some of that money for water meters? I think, that's a way to, everybody has to have a working water meter, period. And it has to be fair, period. And I think the town would be a lot better off if we would do something like that. We're looking at selling some land. So, I mean, not only the 4 lots, but some other parcels as well. And let's talk about using that money to, help to do the water meter stuff for infrastructure. I mean, Jordan's point about infrastructure, all of our points about infrastructure. If we don't have infrastructure, we don't have a town. You know, so we have to take care of it. And that starts with the financing and the funding of that, which frankly comes down to, does your water meter work or not? You know, so those are my comments.
Thank you. Councilman Whitener.
What I found was that our community is just asking for continued transparency. And when I say transparency, is an internal audit with what's like in kind and how many working meters we do have and how many we don't have and why we don't have a plan in place on what we're going to replace X amount of years, or I guess the right terminology would be how many we're going to replace every year, and how many we're going to budget to have replaced. I've also heard the community's issue in, you know, they're all enduring financial hardship to some degree, and I think a lot of people in this town are wanting to do better and have community pride and take care of what's theirs. And with the financial hardship of the cost of groceries and everything else, a lot of people say, the cost of living has gone up, and I guess you could say it's true, but I don't know that it's really true. I think what's really happened is there's devaluation in America right now. Our dollar isn't worth a damn thing. I don't know that the cost of living has gone up. It looks that way when you go and buy something, but the truth of it is your dollar isn't worth anything. And so it takes more dollars to buy something. And so I think that's across the board, whether it's the town purchasing water meters or having a project done or whatever. But the town is clearly wanting something done that's like, fair, and kind. So I think what I see fit from my view take is I think the option of the potential of a third employee staying a part of our town is important. But the flat rate cost, as one citizen mentioned, reached out to another community that's like and kind to us. When we talk about like and kind as far as water and sewer goes. So I think the idea of the $70 and $50 of $120 across the board all year long, saves some money on potential reads. B, the thing that I would strongly advise is there's still a plan in place to replace the meters that need to be replaced. This is a bridge the gap, if you will, not a forget about it and put it on the back burner and we've got a solution that becomes forever. I think this is a bridge the gap to do what's right for the citizens of this town. I think the other side of that is just because your water isn't metered doesn't mean there isn't still a check. And I think that needs to still continue to happen to some degree. And that needs to be looked at amongst the governing body. Because again, it's not a forever solution. So what I mean by that is somebody that is metered isn't just being abusive and going through 50 or 60,000 gallons of water a month and quote unquote being an asshole because we're paying $120. We can do whatever the hell we want. We use all the water in the world. And I just don't think it kind of keeps the citizen, at bay to some degree. And then I think that could also, lead to some potential kind of like the power company and the gas company does and some budget, if you will. You can do the 12 month and you pay this for 12 months and then they recalculate you out. But that's a whole nother bag of beans. I just think that this is what's fair and kind, but that's what keeps somebody honest. And I do think in doing such, we need to have a plan in place on how many we're gonna plan on replacing yearly. I don't think this is something the town should endure a debt and depreciate a savings account on, because we could depreciate the savings account and then something else happens and we got nothing to handle the problem. And then we just rob Peter to pay Paul. And again, financial hole and lack of maintenance, like Jake said, over 30 years has done this. So sorry that the people elected in past years, all the way up to 30, have allowed it to get to this point. That's where I rest.
I have two quick things.
Yeah, please, Councilman Stepp.
First of all, Linda, I apologize for snapping a little bit. That was unfair. I was frustrated. I felt interrupted a lot and I acted inappropriately and I apologize.
I don't feel that you were that inappropriate and your
wasn't.
apology is accepted, but
Thank you.
there was no apology necessary.
No. And the other, I do think it's notable. It was like 20. Teresa could help me out. I'm thinking it's 2011, 2012, that council did a lot of sewer infrastructure in town that was very badly needed. And so it's not that no maintenance was going on the infrastructure, but there wasn't the maintenance that we feel was necessary on the water. But I know there was some serious sewage transmission lines problems that had been taken care of by previous councils too. So I think it's notable to mention that.
I never said there wasn't any maintenance.
No, I am kind of implied that. I want to make sure I was clear that I wasn't saying they haven't done their job.
There was some sewers that was lines that were real bad. All the ones that were in the worst condition did get replaced. But the town was a 75-25 grant at that time.
Right.
And when it became 50-50, the town quit doing sewer lines because of the cost.
They got the worst of them replaced. I remember that one in the alley between
Yeah.
Pine and Maple was horrible.
But do you want to bring up anything, Chris, or?
I mean, obviously there's a lot of differencing of opinions on things and, you know, I guess I get it, you know, it's easy to blame everyone currently here or whatever, you know, but blaming and is not going to fix these things. And the only way I'm going to fix it is to come up with a solution, come together and work towards that goal with the people in town as well as the governing body. And whatever I can do to help make recommendations, I'm happy to do on both sides. I just don't want to do a knee-jerk reaction. And my advice, we need to save the money. We have to get some money saved. We can't just spend it. And I know we need to solve this problem, but we have to figure out a way to do it smartly. That's all. That'd be my only message.
And although you did recommend increasing this and increasing that, you recommended about 100 different things. Just getting that on the record, that if you want, you could do this. If you want, you could do that. If you want, you could do that. And that's, you guys did come up with a lot of solutions. So thank you.
Yeah, I would like to close and then just talk about every councilman up here, every part of the governing body. We've all tried to work to better Shoshoni. The past governing bodies did the same. We go through a budget, we do the best we can on what we're doing. We turned 7 years ago, 7.5 years ago, we turned zeroing in on our water infrastructure because the director of public works at that time said there was big problems. And so we needed to fix them or we were gonna have some real serious issues. They were bad. But prioritize. That was been a big priority in doing that. Like I said, we are looking at solutions for more water meters. And that's something that we're aware of and we're trying to fix. And, our Director of Public Works is working on that, and if we get some numbers that we can bring to council, to look at options, and the governing body can decide on how to prioritize and how we can maybe make that work. But we are working on that. I do appreciate everybody that came up here to our meeting and had comment. I believe probably opened some eyes on different subjects, but we're just trying to sort out what's good and fair and equitable to our citizens. But we're charged with the duty to have a budget, especially with our enterprise funds, that we should be representing cost, and we should also be representing replacement costs and trying to build money into that. So when we need to replace stuff, we have money to do that. And I believe Marshall explained that really, really well, what we should be trying to do. But, and else, anybody has anything else? Anybody have anything else from the audience online? Anybody else here? Any parting? If none being, I'm gonna declare this,
Make the motion to go home.
I'll declare this meeting over.
Oh, it's a declaration.
Declare this meeting over.